In a little town of Boston, a song. On a Sunday in New England, in a little town of Boston, Whiskey's looking out the window with a back white and strong, his face up to the screen of the porch, watching and looking, ears up to the hum of the crickets as they sing their lullaby in the cool autumn air, chanting like jingle bells. In a little town of Boston, in a little town of Boston, Whiskey turns his head to the right and stares into the stillness while the crickets chant each falling of a leaf in a breath that's cool to my lungs. And he turns around and meows and yawns and walks to another perch and lays himself down on a window sill, just a board and a chair, in a little town of Boston. In a little town of Boston I can breathe the fall New England air. In a little town of Boston the clouds hang in the sky, taking their own sweet time, drifting by and by, quilted like a blanket over my head. And underneath the singing of blue jays on a Sunday in September, while the rustling of leaves like a wave at Fenway goes around and around, is it our turn to stand? Is it our turn to stand? Waving in a sudden breeze of fall New England air, in a little town of Boston, as Whiskey rests his head upon the chair. In a little town of Boston, in a little town of Boston, there's a sound of ringing on a Sunday in September, far off in the distance, and it echoes in the air as the colors of the trees change in front of my eyes. I take in a breath of everything around me and listen to the fall New England air. In a little town of Boston, in a little town of Boston, the great pond hunter.